The Lantern of Solace. In the heart of a bustling city, amidst the clamor of daily life, there stood an old bookstore. It was a quaint little shop that seemed out of place among the towering skyscrapers and modernity. Its name, the Lantern of Solace, was etched in faded gold letters above the entrance. The bookstore was a heaven for those seeking refuge from the chaos of the world. The owner, an elderly man named Victor, was a fixture in the shop. He had inherited the store from his father and had been its caretaker for over 50 years. Victor was known for his wisdom and his quiet demeanor. He had a gentle smile and a kind word for everyone who came through his door. One rainy afternoon, a young woman named Clara entered the store. She was visibly distressed, her eyes red from tears. She was in her early 30s, with a worn out appearance that spoke of years of struggle. Her life had recently taken a downward turn. She had lost her job, her apartment, and her sense of direction. She wandered into the bookstore almost by chance, seeking a momentary escape from her troubles. Victor welcomed Clara with his usual warmth. She looked around the dimly lit shop, where the air was filled with the scent of old paper and a hint of lavender. She wandered through the aisles until she found herself in front of a dusty shelf labeled Inspirational Reads. As Clara reached for a book, Victor approached her. "Looking for something in particular?" he asked. "No, not really," Clara replied, her voice tinged with uncertainty. "Just trying to find something to distract me." Victor nodded and smiled gently. "Sometimes the right book finds you when you are not looking." Clara picked up a book titled The Lantern of Solace. It was an old leather bound volume with intricate designs on the cover. Intrigued, she decided to sit in a cozy corner of the shop and began to read. The book was a collection of stories about people who had faced great challenges and found their way to fulfillment. One story in particular caught Clara's attention. It was about a young woman named Eleanor who lived in a small village surrounded by a dense, dark forest. The villagers believed that the forest was cursed, and no one dared to venture into it. Eleanor, however, was different. She was known for her kindness and her unwavering optimism. One day, a terrible drought struck the village. The crops failed, and the villagers were on the brink of despair. Eleanor, determined to help, decided to venture into the forbidden forest to find a source of water. Despite the villagers' warnings and the fear that gripped her, Eleanor set off into the forest with nothing but a small lantern. As she walked deeper into the woods, she encountered many obstacles: thick brambles, treacherous paths, and eerie noises. Yet she pressed on, guided only by the faint light of her lantern. After what seemed like an eternity, Eleanor stumbled upon a hidden spring. The water was crystal clear and abundant. She filled her lantern with the water and made her way back to the village. Her bravery and the water she brought saved the village from disaster. The story concluded with a reflection on how Eleanor's lantern was more than just a source of light. It symbolized hope, courage, and the power of perseverance. The villagers, once skeptical, came to realize that the true magic of the forest lay not in its darkness but in the light one carried within. As Clara finished reading the story, she felt a sense of calm wash over her. She realized that her own struggles, though daunting, were not insurmountable. The story of Eleanor and her lantern resonated deeply with her. It was a reminder that even in the darkest times, one could find their way through with hope and determination. Clara looked up from the book and saw Victor watching her with a knowing smile. It's a powerful story, isn't it? He said softly. Yes, Clara replied, her voice steady now. It's just what I needed to hear. Victor nodded. Sometimes we all need a little light to guide us through the darkness. Remember the lantern you carry is not just for yourself, but also for those around you. Your courage and hope can light the way for others. Clara thanked Victor and left the bookstore with the newfound sense of purpose. She knew her journey would still be challenging, but she felt more prepared to face it. The story had given her a beacon of hope and a reminder that she had the strength to overcome her obstacles. As she stepped out into the rainy city streets, Clara carried with her the light of Eleanor's lantern, a symbol of her own resilience and the promise of brighter days ahead.